Hello and welcome to episode 69 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, and today I'm joined by Fatty, special guest Harry and Akram. How you doing, guys? How you doing, Akram?
Yeah, doing well, mate. Doing well. It's been a couple of weeks. I hope everyone had a good Easter, and here we are.
Harry,
I'm doing really well. Every time I come here, it's awesome. So yeah,
it's a fun one
to be
tonight.
here again. Yeah,
It's a fun one.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Fatty, 69, welcome.
Why do you call me Fatty 69? It's not actually my name, but anyway.
Wasn't that your old email address?
Specialist.
Fatty69 at gmail.com. Yahoo.
No, for you.
For you, Fatty, for you.
At hotmail.com.
How you doing? How was your last fortnight since we've seen each other?
My last one has been great, mate. I've been on paid leave from Football Retro. Thank you for that. Bonus. Sorry, boys. I don't know if you got paid or not, but I paid leave. Went on holidays. Came back, and I'm really looking forward to this episode. 69.
A lot happened since last time we met. Obviously, the Champions League games.
Yep.
I've gone blonde.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. You're trying to reenact Romania at the World Cup or something.
Does it work? Am I turning you on right now?
Between you and Harry, I don't know if this episode's 69 or fucking gay episode. But anyway.
Back, how you been? Real Madrid about to win the league again?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the other news. Yeah, apparently Fatty doesn't care. But PSG certainly did win their league this past weekend.
A team that finished second last year, all of a sudden Messi gets them to finish first.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, so
Second.
it was the last piece of the puzzle, was it? Yeah.
100%. He's got the winning goal for the championship, so I'll just leave it there.
Marketing.
100%. Meanwhile, you complain so much about the Premier League and blah, blah, blah. La Liga's finished, Bundesliga's finished.
That's true.
Thank God for Serie A and the
still
Premier
going.
League.
Yeah, Premier League's still
And
going.
Serie A.
Yeah, Serie A is doing really well. Milan and Inter.
Serie A in the 80s, Johnny. In the 80s.
And 90s.
Yeah, come on, you can't forget that, mate.
Never.
But yeah, no, and Premier League is becoming a real tough situation between the two top clubs. I don't know who's going to finish it off. Probably Man City, but I think the biggest story right now in the Premier League is for a bit of a negative reason. That's Manchester United, mate.
Oh, absolutely, they've been shocking.
There have been, I mean, it's expected, but the expectations were low after Solskjaer left. So I just want to get the season over and done with so they can start building next season. That's the way I saw it.
From when Solskjaer left, you're right, but from the beginning of the season, that's certainly not the case, was it? I mean, expectations was sky high. They came second last year.
True. Yeah.
Bringing Cristiano Ronaldo, and now what?
Yeah, we discussed that actually when we were doing our predictions for the league, and when we saw the signings that they made. I mean, Ronaldo was an addition to already some strong signings. We thought
it was a great market.
United's going to have a fucking very, very good season, and here they are struggling. That loss on the weekend to Arsenal was basically a 6-pointer for that top four because they would have either closed the gap or gone level on points. Now they're 6 points behind. So,
but that game they did have a lot of chances. So, it seemed like
yeah.
they
But
were
we're
trying.
going to say that every game.
You don't get points for chances.
I understand that, but at the same time, I know a lot of people are talking a lot of rubbish about Ronaldo. I think
Nah, it's not
did
Ronaldo's fault.
what he
Yeah, of
Nah,
course.
it's not
was meant to do this year.
He's had a quite
He's doing
Look,
a good
look.
season. Yeah.
In regards to on-field performance, I don't think it's Ronaldo's fault.
Yeah.
What happens in the change room that I don't know, but we're not aware of, I can't comment. But from watching it from home, you can't blame Ronaldo when he's the top goal scorer and he's the one finishing off the chances.
No, he's had quite a good season regardless
Yeah.
of his age. But for someone who's 37, it's actually been, a remarkable season, really. But I think it's like Harry said, there are chances. So that means there is talent in the squad. It's just that it's mismatched talent, mismanaged. It's pretty, just a mess.
To me, the bigger news is Everton.
Really, yeah, because
They're in relegation zone right now. Burnley overtook them.
Everton, I think, is the longest serving club in the Premier League, not been relegated.
So they need to test the water.
It's very, very crazy that they're even in that position. Everton was always at worst a mid-table club, at best pushing for a top four or for Europa League spot. In the top, definitely the 7th, 8th in that region, upsetting a lot of the big teams. Merseyside derbies were always tough games for Liverpool. Now it's just, I don't know. It's very disappointing. Everton is a club that you'd love to watch. Very passionate supporters. It's a very nice ground. Goodison Park is a beautiful small ground with a good crowd. Always the atmosphere is great. The football's intense. I just don't know what's gone wrong. They've had a lot of poor decisions in the transfer market and manager wise. Lampard obviously is still a bit raw. I don't know if he's the right person to save them from relegation, but they're in a big predicament now. Teams always in the relegation zone would tend to pick up points towards the end, especially against the bigger clubs when they've got something to fight for. They just don't seem to be doing that. So
it's really disappointing, like you said.
I thought they'll start to kick in and that spirit will rise, but it'll be a big upset if they get relegated.
It'll be a big loss too.
And do you think it's going to happen to them what happened to Leeds and take them forever to come back, or?
I can't say that. If they do go down, I'll give them 2 years before they're back, maximum.
They're too big a club to fail like that. But in saying that, there's got to be massive action in the off-season. If that's the case, if they get relegated,
So the reason why, I think that there is a fear there for clubs that relegate is that, the clubs that do get promoted and the rest of the 17 other clubs that stay, they get such a much extra funding in terms from revenue from the Premier League and the Football Association that the clubs that get promoted, if they have a good season and all that, and then, one season turns into two.
We've seen it before. We've seen it before. Of the club. It'll change the club completely. The amount of money that they get paid. Television rights in the Premier League is enormous ever since they, created the Premier League and seceded from the FA because they set up their own TV rights deal, and the money the television money gets distributed between the clubs. It's absolutely enormous money.
100%. And unless you get promoted straight away back up, then the gap gets wider.
Happened to Sunderland, for example.
Exactly.
The problem is that when these clubs get relegated, players will jump ship.
Yeah.
So you've got to start from scratch. You don't get the loyalty nowadays where people say, I'm bring that club up. So it's very, very risky.
Staying in Liverpool, and this is going to be a tough one for you and I, Fatty. But Liverpool are looking really good to get all 4 trophies this year.
Yeah, they're doing really well. Very consistent. You expect a result from them, whoever they play.
FA Cup final versus Chelsea, Premier League head-to-head with Man City, and they're not slowing down.
Yep.
Champions League, they've got Villarreal as a semi-final, so you assume they're going to make the Champions League final.
If anything, they got the preferable draw in the Champions League semi-final.
And they're actually playing well. So unfortunately for a Liverpool hater, it's not a good thing.
They're actually playing well, that's what I'm saying. So they just seem to be clicking. There's a well-oiled machine under Klopp, and it's just continuing to roll on. There's no dip in form. There's no, this and that. There's an anomaly of a result every now and again, which people try to celebrate, but it's very, very short-lived. They bounce straight back. FA Cup final, I think, is a shoo-in. I don't see Chelsea. Chelsea's just gone quiet for me the last.
So you can't see Chelsea winning the FA Cup final?
No.
So if Chelsea win against Liverpool the final, would you put an episode with that jersey on?
Yeah.
Wow, here we go.
I don't see Chelsea anymore.
Wow.
Van Dijk on the back. That would be nice.
And a little Chelsea jersey on.
Chelsea win. No, Liverpool win, mate. Come on.
No.
If your memory serves you correctly, it's not the first time I did that.
That's true. It's a photo. All right, let's get the show officially started.
Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
And welcome back. Episode 69, as discussed. Big shout out first before we get started to Sami, a big Liverpool supporter who asked me to open up my heart to Liverpool this season.
Why you're licking ass already?
I say, fuck you. I am not. I still hate Liverpool. And I hope they'll win 0 trophies out of the next 3. Any shout outs from you guys?
Fuck, that's a good shout out.
Harry's got a lot of fans out there.
Oh, do I? Oh, nice.
So, episode 69. So we thought, why not make it sexual? Okay.
That's very blunt.
Let's straight to the point. Harry told me today he's very direct. He was told he's very direct. So I'm going to be direct in this episode as well. 69, we're talking sex. All right. It's not sex like you guys are thinking right now. It's not going to be a live show right now, even though Harry's got a pink jumper on.
And you've got your bleached blonde hair.
And I've got the nice and bleached blonde hair. But I attract females with this. I've been told. I'm walking down the street and I'm
your eyes are just popping out.
Thanks, man. Thanks, That's why you're here, to give me compliments.
He hasn't stopped looking at you.
I changed my sex for you, bro.
We've got the right guest for this episode. Let's just say that.
Who? Darcy.
Darcy couldn't make it today. You know where he was, Akram? Darcy?
I don't know where he was. I know who he's with though.
Who's he with?
What does that even mean? Is this a special episode announcement or something?
Well, yeah. I mean, you certainly know his lady friend, Jasmine.
Oh yes, we knew about that previously. But
Poor
I didn't know it was
So
going
he's
to
not
be.
talking about sex.
Nah, poor Darcy.
No, I don't know, but it's not.
It's all rumors, so Darcy, you don't believe him. This is ex from college, he said,
Oh,
from
sorry.
uni. Come on,
Oh,
keep up with
wow.
the times. So today, the topic is players or footballers who've been involved in sexual scandals. Or,
Only sexual.
yeah, I didn't care about them robbing a fucking car or something. It's 69.
Robbing a car.
it's 69.
Or
Paddy.
killing someone while they're driving. I mean,
Yeah,
Tony
drink
Adams or something.
driving is
That-
boring.
That's not.
Tony Adams is a drink driver, not a murderer. There's a difference.
Well,
Just an
he was
alcoholic.
driving.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an alcoholic. we
And
know
now,
that.
wasn't he that hit someone while he was driving and being drunk? Oh, see, you've done your research.
He's gonna defend
No,
Tony
I
Adams.
just know these stories. Relax.
Oh, yeah. Arsenal,
He's
I
got
know-
to defend
I
his
know
boy.
these
He's got to
stories,
defend his boy.
So we're looking at sexual scandals. Let's just call them that. Okay.
Scandals.
Any names that you want to start off with? I've got one that comes to mind straight away. He's an English guy.
Adam Johnson.
That's the one.
Fuck, I knew it. I didn't even do my research. I just know. I know what you're thinking.
Look at this guy, Darcy, today, eh?
We link our minds are linked by now after 69 episodes together.
Adam Johnson, former Man City player,
Mhm.
Sunderland player,
Mhm.
got busted hooking up with a 16-year-old. Was she 16 or 15 or
15.
something? Underage,
Turning 16.
regardless.
Under
So
16.
it's not just a sexual scandal. He's an absolute fucking pedophile scum.
3 years in jail he spent.
Nothing. That's peanuts. They should have hanged him from his fucking balls. That's my opinion. But
He tried to get back into the game. Looks like he couldn't.
get back.
The
But how
game,
can
the
they
game
let him-
didn't accept him.
Of
in other
course they
words.
wouldn't accept him. Why would they let him anyway?
Maybe he was just misunderstood.
Fuck off.
I think it'd be hard for a club to hire Adam Johnson. Can you imagine the PR?
How can the fans support him?
Well, depends how you look at it. If you look at it from the leftist side, you need to understand, maybe he just loves 15-year-olds.
Is that true, Akram?
Here we go. Fucking hell. Is this going to be politics or fucking
No,
69?
No,
Right.
I'm being as smart as fucking castrate the cunt. It's
Love is love.
touching kids, man. Like, see you later, man.
Look, the story, apparently the official story on his side is that he didn't know she was underage or she lied about the age or whatever it is.
Wasn't that Ribéry as well? And who else was with him?
Nah.
Two French players?
That-
Yeah, the
Nah,
fuck
that
the
was-
girl.
That was prostitution. That wasn't
That was
underage.
Yeah.
Benzema
but they
raping
didn't-
girls.
but
That's different.
Nah, but they...
Darcy's lover boy, he was Karim Benzema.
No,
He's a
she was
rapist.
also underage. They picked her up in a nightclub.
They raped,
Is that
they
true?
raped a
I
prostitute.
mean, I heard the story that they were like the accusation was underage. I don't know if that
Yeah,
was
but the thing
true.
is, like,
Of course, you got to
She
defend your
didn't
boy.
No. But what I'm saying, how did she get in the club?
100%. How'd you get in the nightclub? But that's up
That's
to the
what I'm
nightclub,
saying.
though, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
they got to do this
So,
screening
but
process.
just to clarify, Harry, you've never been inside a club before you were at the age of 18?
I did, but you know, I didn't cry
There's-
for the pump,
there's-
you
there's
know
a
what I
way.
mean? But I didn't get pumped by Benzema to complain. No, but what I'm saying is that, you know, you're in there, you think that the club has done the, you know, checks that they need to perform.
Their diligence
They've
on
seen
making
a
sure.
bloody girl, she's there, available.
Yeah, but how
They
involved?
didn't rape.
So, but hang on, how involved can the club be in your fucking life?
Hmm.
There's got to be some form.
No,
of
are
something.
you talking
Not
about?
club,
You're
I'm
talking
talking
about
a
the soccer
nightclub.
club.
I'm
It was a
talking a
nightclub.
nightclub. I'm talking a nightclub. They should have checked and
But
done
still,
everything.
no,
I mean,
hang on,
that's
no.
the...
So if you go and there's a kid somehow that got into a fucking TAB, you're gonna say, well, they didn't do that check, so fuck it.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%. Like your individual responsibility,
Yeah.
you got to double check for yourself because otherwise you're the one that gets fucked over. And look at Adam Johnson. I don't know if with this story very well. I don't know if there was malicious intent on his part. He
No one
could've-
will ever know. No one
Yeah,
will ever
yeah.
know. It's between
But
him and
regardless, he's the one that's also now had 3 years in jail, can't get back in the game. You got to double check this shit, like regardless of nightclubs, regardless of who lets it, who in.
Exactly. Like, at what point do you put the responsibility on the players? I mean, it happens over and over again. For example, in rugby league, okay, where the rugby league players keep making the same mistakes in regards to the,
But
to the
Bashing
behavior.
the
what's a mistake? Is a mistake what Jaron Hay did? That's not a mistake. That's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot.
But there's a culture. There's a
And he brought
culture.
up- No, but the culture is my days too. The girls would call you, you come. They want to, even Channel 9 done it, and they thought that they're doing a girl a favor. She ended up a fucking idiot. oh, they sent me a picture to pick the dick. And what did you do? I picked it. And then I got fucked. And then they didn't respect me when they were fucking me in the bum while the other one was taking a picture. I mean, what do you think's going to happen?
I thought you were going to be a gentleman today. What the fuck happened?
I'm talking.
How long did you last?
You know,
7 minutes.
Pick my note, because look, I think that guys that rape, absolutely might cut their balls off right up. No game, no nothing. If somebody did like Greenwood, what he did, do to my daughter. I told my daughter now, any boy hits you do not call the police and put on a Facebook. You fucking call me. Then we'll deal with him. After I'm done, then we'll call the police or maybe a hospital or whatever the fuck happens to help the guy.
Or the morgue.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
I agree with
you
that.
know what I'm saying? But like a lot of players get themselves or girls gets themselves in a situation that what happened to NRL players was not rape, was a, nasty, and maybe they didn't respect them as a women. Absolutely. But if somebody sends me 10 pictures to pick a dick and I pick it, I know what's going to happen to me. And I go there too. You had like 75 chances to say no. And now you're getting pumped while everyone else is fucking doing photos and dancing around you.
Can you explain to our listeners and viewers what getting pumped you're referring to?
Excited. No, you're getting whatever you're doing and people are taking photos and they're not respecting me. But they just send you 10 pictures to pick and you picked. Where's the respect? You already put yourself to that level. So that's one thing. When girls get themselves in there, the guys didn't rape them. They ask her to pick. This is what's going to happen to you. Do you want to come? And you can. That's not a rape.
Speaking of,
rape is when the girls say no and then they do it.
Different scandal, different big name, similar situation. I'm not sure if you guys watched the Neymar documentary on Netflix.
No, but I know the story.
But the story behind that is something similar, where Neymar and this girl from model, I think it is, from Brazil, interchanging messages back and forth.
Brazilian models, why?
Because they're fucking hot.
That's fair.
Back and forth messaging. Neymar then flew her over to Paris, put her in a hotel, slept with her one night. The following night, he came back, I think he assumed for more. She was recording him, got angry at him, was like, what the fuck's going on? And then she tried to claim.
Yeah, what about,
and that got thrown off.
What about Andrew Jones? Not Andrew, Matty.
Matty Jones,
The guys did the train on the lady. It was good.
The city rail.
Yeah, and then she goes.
Please explain to our listeners and viewers what the train is.
And then she goes in the morning to her workmates in a pub. I just got fucked with the whole fucking team, and they call her a slut. Oh shit! Now I'm gonna sue these cunts. They raped me. On the 79th, I felt like something's not right. Like, that's wrong. Look, we need to know what's right, what's wrong.
But that's the thing, but that's exactly why the boys need to be much more smarter than that shit. Yeah. You can't get involved in that fucking shit. And look at the Neymar story is a very good example, because a player of that fame, you're a target on your back as well. 100%. And you gotta be careful. You don't want to get into that.
Not that there's anything wrong with what he did. If two adults choose to do that, and he told her, I'll fly you over, and she took all the luxuries that came with, oh yeah, you're going to fly me over, I'm going to come spend time with you, and you sleep together on the first night or whatever, and he came again, and you didn't like it, and it turned into a thing.
He probably told her to get fucked, go home.
Yeah, but
tomorrow, and then she got offended.
But the story of
like a lady,
But the story, for example, with Matty Johns, the problematic story of that is that if you're in that room and you got 10, 15 other people there with you, you can tell that this is getting out of hand. I didn't know to sign up for this, regardless of what she says the next day or that in that moment. That's not a place that you should want to be, especially.
Because all it takes is for her to say one person was. I said no to. I said no to, and it fucked up. Then everyone's going to be tainted.
That's it. And look what happened to his story. Look how your name's dragged in the mud. It's really not worth it. You got to be much more intelligent than that.
You do.
You got to be fucking careful.
But that's what I'm saying. It's very much different to. And
I think even
remember when Bulldogs had a scandal with the ladies in Coffs Harbour.
What
happened after they've done it? In the morning, maybe they, instead of paying them a fucking taxi, send them home. They probably say, "Get the fuck out, bitch." Blah, blah, blah. You're gonna call me a bitch. Now you're gonna get fucked. Now I'm gonna call rape. Right. And look, I know that happens in sport a lot, but not just in sport, to any rich person.
He's talking about his Marconi days.
They want to, get fame, get money, get whatever on the back of someone else. But there's also animals like, from Greenwood to Robinho to, you know.
Well,
players
let's
like
talk
that.
about Robinho. So he got convicted 9 years in jail in Italy. Similar situation to what you're talking about the train.
No, but he was but he didn't even have any
Jeez,
remorse.
like, can someone clarify
they
to our
reckon-
viewers what the train is?
But they reckon that during the trial, he didn't even that there was no remorse from him. It was like, what do you mean?
So it was him and 4 mates, one standing, on one girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And she didn't agree from the beginning to any of them. But they were like, what do you mean you're not agreeing? We are the stars. You know, and it wasn't just
Who's the
sex.
other four?
mates from
His
Brazilian
mates
mates.
from,
Yeah.
you know, favelas.
I think one of them was kind of, some level of fame.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard or what I've read and stuff, it wasn't just sex. There were a whole lot of shit.
It was a lot more malicious.
Yeah.
Well, he appealed and failed.
From peeing to all sorts of stuff.
What?
It wasn't
Peeing.
pissing on her.
Oh, okay. So
It was
kinky shit.
big rating as well. It
Yeah,
wasn't
really.
just sexual. It was pretty bad what they've done to her.
What I didn't know, doing some research for tonight, like some of us do.
I don't know what that word means. I don't research. I just
So
talk.
Robinho was involved in a scandal in 2009. I think he was playing in Manchester City back then, maybe,
Yes, just after that.
with a student in Leeds who went to a nightclub and a student accused him of sexual assault. That got swept under the rug. I don't know if there was money involved or whatever, but the charges were dropped. So it's not the first time the Robinho's name comes up in a scandal. So there's behaviour.
Didn't he have the tax scandal as well? Obviously, it's not sexual. Related,
Yeah.
but he had a tax scandal, a tax issue, tax
A lot of them
evasion.
do. So I don't know. Even
Some
Gossini
bullshit.
was involved in tax
No, but
evasion.
he went to jail for it. I think he got sentenced for it.
Did he?
Oh, really?
I'm pretty
But
sure.
anyway, with Robinho, he was sentenced 9 years. He actually appealed for it, and he the appeal was rejected, was thrown out.
But you need to imagine what he did. That the player of his stature, actually that they send him to prison for 9 years. Probably someone else would get 18. You know, he got 9.
Yeah.
You know, because everything else is
For fame and power, money.
So he's in jail right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite an unbelievable story. Like that was
Crazy.
Crazy.
But I've got a fun one for you. I'm sure you may have watched the video, the Dwight York and Mark Bosnich one. Have you heard about that one?
I just watched the video. Oh, no, my boss. No, I heard about it. But look, I like both of them. So,
Yeah, and it's a fun one. I think it's a fun one. No one was hurt, but it was York, Bosnich, and four females. And even the boys were dressed in dresses, and they were getting spanked, and they put hidden cameras. And it was all fun and games until instead of destroying the tape, threw it in the trash. The journalist found it, and he leaked everywhere.
but what did they see? This is the thing now. But they've done
Bosnich.
nothing wrong. The girl.
Look, I don't know whether the cameras were hidden and the girls didn't know they were recorded. I don't know part of the story. I don't want to say anything that's incorrect.
But obviously there was no any intent to share it or show it if the bloody idiots threw the bloody tape.
Yeah.
I would still have it.
Dwight York was always known for his party lifestyle at Manchester United, and it's one of the reasons that attracted him to come to Sydney FC when the league first started in 2005, because of the party lifestyle, and he wanted to come to Sydney and all that sort of stuff. So he was always like that. Even when he was playing in the A-League, he was constantly out at nightclubs and doing that sort of stuff. So I'm not surprised that he'd be caught up in some sort of bullshit like this.
Speaking of that lifestyle, George Best got caught on the day of the game with a prostitute in the hotel room.
That's why they call him the best.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if he chooses to,
No, and that's what the interesting part is. Like people would still call that a scandal. And the same with the Mark Bosnich kind of issue is like, well, I don't know if any laws were broken in these particular examples, but they still call it a scandal. And that's because that his fame, the media attention, and it's just a bad look for players, and it's becomes blown out of control. And I mean,
what's not a bad look for a player? So the player's got to be married and have a trophy wife and all that sort of stuff. But if the player's single, he's not allowed to.
And he can't go.
Is it that, or is it that it was the fact that it was the day off the game, so your mind is somewhere else? You're not a professional. You're not focused on the game.
You're gonna laugh. One of the coaches I had back when I was growing up, he developed Boban, he developed Prosinecki.
Fucking Union Croatians.
No, but you're gonna laugh. He used to tell us, he goes, if you're married, no sex before the game, because the only thing that's gonna happen, your legs are gonna be heavy after you finish.
It's true.
But if you're not married and you get a new lady, you're gonna be all fine, bumping up as long as the wife doesn't find out. You're good. So, like, you know, like it can be against the, like, who made that rule that you cannot have sex before the game?
Yeah.
Some players need it.
Yeah, no, and like Johnny said, like it's because it's the day of the game. Well, no, because like you said, like no one's actually doing anything wrong, and you know you're fitting that idea of what should you be married with kids and never kind of enjoy your life as a adult and doing consensual activity. But it's in that situation, it's just I guess a day of the game with a prostitute. And George Best already had the reputation, and man, that's the role media is going to play, isn't it?
But just another Englishman to your thing, and you said, oh, maybe it's because of the day of the game. I'll give you another example. How long ago was this? Maybe 15 years ago. It was the early days of Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, with the old lady, yeah.
And there was things before he got married, and rumors of him going to visit prostitutes, but not any prostitutes. He was into grandmas.
Good on him.
So he's into
my boy.
So he's into the older women.
But this one was quite older.
Dams. Yeah, and the rumors came out and whatever, blah blah blah, and it was again a scandal. But at the time, he wasn't married. He wasn't married with his wife, Colleen, or whatever the fuck her name is. He wasn't married. He had no kids. He wasn't on the eve of a game.
He was a young single guy, just
but someone found out about it or took a photo of him somewhere, whatever. Massive scandal. Why is that a scandal? The bloke's got a thing for older women.
You know what's a scandal? When your teammate is pumping your wife. That's a fucking scandal.
Oh, there's plenty of those.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So you jump to John Terry, are you?
Yeah. But like, but no, like the young guy, what they're gonna do, like, this is what the problem is. I mean, back then wasn't as bad and they were still getting busted. But now with these phones, I mean, being a superstar now,
changes everything.
You rather don't want to be one.
Yeah, no.
Like you have to live under the rock.
100%. That's the trappings of fame now. It's like nowadays everything's surveillance. Yeah. There's video cameras all around you.
That's why.
So with that John Terry thing you just mentioned, do you think, in your opinions, that John Terry should have been stripped of his captaincy like the way he was?
I think the club did it.
No, England. He was an English captain.
Okay.
And the country took the captaincy away from him.
That's fine.
So like, there's no right or wrong. Just what do you think?
I think it's right because they need to show that there's some sort of moral standards. There's some sort of standards that they hold their players to. Otherwise, it's whatever. We don't sort of care. It's just going to reflect poorly on them. I understand. It's not technically. I would say, this is the right thing to do. It's not technically the right thing to do, but I understand why they did it. It makes sense. It looks terrible the way he's done it. Some people are going to be outraged, and it's more, we don't agree with that sort of thing. We're taking a sort of moral stand. Other players that are still involved in the national team, they need to show that they're supportive of that. So it's a fine line because you're mixing personal lives and then a professional life, unfortunately. But it's going to happen. Now, obviously, that didn't happen at Chelsea.
You do not fuck your teammates, miss. I don't give a shit how hot she is, man. That's like, these are your brothers in arms, man. You need to trust this guy. He just fucked your wife. And you're going to Champions League final? Fuck you, man. He should have been out of the club.
I think that's a big part. Like, it's not just the FA doing that for England. But as teammates, do you lose faith in your captain? Do you
you just bumped my wife. Yeah. How do I trust you? Did you know what I mean? I reckon he got easy.
Speaking of sex in episode 69, is there a reason why your voice is missing tonight? Or
yeah, we love this topic.
I was on a roller coaster of emotion
and screaming out loud.
Yeah.
Now, Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah,
he was caught in a hotel room with 3 trannies.
Ronaldo 9. That was a big story, actually.
The 3 trannies, and his fiance broke the engagement off. Eventually, they got back together. So he tried to pay them all off. One of the trannies says, "No, I want more money. Otherwise, I'm going to the media." The cops got involved, but there's one night he couldn't score a hat trick.
But could that be a setup?
Look, if you've got fucking 3 trainers in a hotel room, you got to be.
There's got to be some responsibility on yourself.
I almost got tricked when I first came to Sydney. I didn't even know that stuff existed. You know
what I mean? Almost got tricked.
So the morning after he realised.
No, she had a deeper voice than me. But like, look-wise, I was like, shit, look at that, man. She was a DJ at a Soho bar.
When I went to Thailand, they had one rule. If this was bigger than mine, it was no go.
That's fair.
I was just looking at her across the room.
The bedroom.
Room.
Fucking hell.
She was a DJ.
Were you playing with the Adam's apple? And
I couldn't see that far, but she came close and I go, "Oh, what's going on here?" Yeah, look, but I was still innocent. Just came from Europe. I didn't see those things there. So
you're talking about fucked up things as well, like
But
John
did
Terry.
it excite you? Were you like curious?
I was so excited, man. Curious. I'm still there. You know? I told you I'm all on the left. I'm thinking of changing sex too, just to get all the benefits. Okay, I could now swim or play soccer with under 13 female team. Get my whole career restarted. What are you talking about? So don't talk about that. Just watch me on TV. new prodigy. I'll smash all the 13s, man. Get my.
So you're saying if tomorrow you decide to identify as a 13-year-old female, you can
I
swim.
started already. I'm
Oh,
just doing all the changes, and I'm waiting for my head to fall off. This one did already, so to look younger.
Is that why you have the pink jumper on?
Speaking of scandals and things that you shouldn't do, Ryan Giggs is a name that comes to mind.
Fucking other one.
How long did that affair go for?
Years.
It was a long time, wasn't it?
Years. Yeah, they went on for ages. Fucking, they used to go to fucking family dinners and Christmases and everything. Like everything was
8
normal.
years,
And they
sorry,
were just
8
fucking
years.
banging
8 years,
each other. Yeah, I told you. It was
What a
years.
fucking headache to have to an affair for 8 years.
That's
Is a long
another
time.
thing. Yeah, how do you control all this shit? You know, like you have to live in a fear that you know.
Yeah,
you
but
might
you know,
be
yeah,
so
100%,
often,
no,
you
you're
because it
say
wasn't
something like.
because it wasn't only one party who had to worry about that. They were both married, so they both had to.
They both
something
had things to
protect.
lose. Yeah.
So they both had to be careful. So that's why they were.
He had a lot more to lose.
Yes, he did.
And
but-
he was still focused in his football.
yeah, but
and
in her,
still-
she didn't want to lose her family life, the whole family, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
And see, and this is what I don't understand. Look, I get it. You know, like as a man, sometimes you think, are these players like that entitled that they think they can do whatever they want?
Well, let me tell you this. According to this, Giggs managed to save his wedding, like save his marriage.
Save his wedding. I was thinking, when the fucking.
Badly spelled,
How
badly
did he do
written. He had
He
to
had
ask
a
his
prenup
wife.
and she wouldn't get nothing, so she got
Ask his wife. I don't know.
Well, she realized the fucking Gucci and Fendi bags were too fucking good.
But look, that's
But
what
it's
I'm
a good
saying.
point you bring up about the entitlement, though, because like players do live in a bit of a bubble. Like all famous people do. You have you have your agent, you have your managers all telling you how good you are. You're doing really well. You live in a bubble where you feel a little insulated from society, from the law.
Yeah.
But how do you get to a point like surely, and we're talking now like Premier League players or even these Robinhos, and I mean those guys are superstars. Surely they don't need to fucking rape.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
man,
Sorry,
like-
Charlie Sheen. It's not about rape. It's about control, power. Charlie Sheen. They asked him the same thing. They asked him, "You're an actor. You're a Hollywood star. You can sleep with most of the females. Why are you paying for prostitutes?" He goes, "I don't pay them for sex. I pay them to leave."
Well, that's a good analogy.
And-
No headache. Yeah,
It's
brilliant.
yeah.
Because of the professionalism.
No, but he is, because you know what? They came, they've done the job, they go home. The other one's going to take him on the phone and look, I just slept with this guy. I want this, I want
He
that.
pays to protect himself. doesn't he?
Exactly right.
But that still could happen, though. It has happened before with prostitutes where
Of course.
they want to leak it or whatever. But my opinion, personally, when it comes to professional footballers and any professional athlete, for that matter, while you're in the profession, I don't believe you should get married, because the fame and money that comes with it is too alluring, especially for male athletes, because you have money, you have fame, as you said, you feel like the world's at your feet. You've got fucking fans, men, women, everyone's fucking
coming at you.
And that's from my point of view. But the club wants you to have a steady relationship or be married because your head is in the game rather than the clubs and that. So what do you do? Who do you please?
Look, I think there are different personalities in football. And that's a big statement to say you shouldn't get married. Like
It's just that's my personal opinion.
I know, but what I'm saying is
Still a
like
big set.
it depends on the player.
No, I don't have an opinion.
For example, two of the greatest players, if not the best two players of all time, Maradona and Pelé, and they both have children outside of the marriage popping up everywhere. Pelé in his documentary recently admitted to having, and he goes, "I was open to my wife about it," and the wife stayed. So Maradona's wife knew about the affair. She still stayed for a long time. So the entitlement, the superstar, and all that stuff, and they're still footballing wise, it didn't affect them because they were the two greatest players of all time. It depends on the personality more than anything else.
Yeah, but he was able to do whatever he wanted. So why would he affect his football? But if he had to hide, he knew that the wife.
Yeah, but Maradona's a freak. If I lived his lifestyle, I wouldn't be alive, let alone be a professional footballer. When he was the best player in Serie A, being top goal scorer and won the Scudetto, he was partying, doing drugs and alcohol for 3 to 4 nights a week, then recovering to play in the weekend. If I do that for one night, only 3 days to recover right now.
Yeah, but
he was a bit younger than you.
Not by much. Not by much.
But Harry does make a good point where what he's saying is like he felt that certain amount of freedom and protection from the people of Naples, where he did whatever the fuck he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Is it sometimes the anxiety and stress of trying to keep secrets? Is that more damaging for yourself?
It didn't really bother Giggs. He's fucking still won Premier League titles and.
But look, a lot of players do these things because it's look. I believe that every athlete or an actor, they're very egoistical. And if you listen to boxers before the game, I'm the greatest, I'm this. That's pumping your mind up. And I mean, even look at the 100-meter sprinters, they're fucking worse. So it's their ego. So they have to feel that they, so them being able to have sex with the girl that they picked rather than they picked them. It's probably like, hey, I am great.
It's a power.
Of course, so it enhances their performance. Hey, I just found this lady that normally I would never be able to. But the problem is, what about when that lady says no?
Yeah.
So now where that ego takes you.
And then to blow to your ego, and then because everything's so ego-driven.
So now who are you to tell me no? And then I'm going to take it now because I can.
That's a fair point.
I've got all this...
power and everyone says me, I'm the man. And
you to know a lot about this topic in depth, Harry. Very detailed analysis.
That's how I look at it. Like, I mean, how do you explain Hayne leaving a taxi, running, coming up, thinking he's going to get a quickie, and fuck off home? I mean,
it's entitlement. It's ego. It's everything you just mentioned.
And you know what? Too, he was at the shit part of his career too. What are you entitled to? Go back to training, you fuck. Then get a fucking entitlement.
But you're absolutely right. And I think a really great example, even though it's not sex related, is the Will Smith incident. Going up and smacking the guy on stage for like the softest, most inoffensive joke. And then and it's because he feels like he's Will Smith. He's got the trap.
Yeah, and it's also because it's Chris Rock. It's not The Rock. If it was The Rock, he wouldn't be slapping anyone.
And how long he was dragging that arm too, like, oh fuck.
Telegraph.
How they analyze the fucking slap. Here we go.
Akram, Christoph Matilda. He played for Real Madrid for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Matilda.
He was. He's been charged with distributing child pornography.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
There's actually a few, I think, in England that have been accused. Not necessarily. Not everyone ended up in prison, but there have been few. One of them that it was like setting up guys with the girls and all that stuff. So if you go through just Premier League, you'll be surprised too.
I didn't know about Christoph Metzelder.
No, neither did I.
German international.
The last name I've got is one just for Fadi. Just for you, just to make you happy at the end of this discussion.
Is this finishing?
It's the last name I've got. If you got more names, bring them on.
Plenty more names.
It's the last name I've got. Van Dijk.
What?
Virgil van Dijk.
Wow.
When he was a Celtic, his girlfriend was pregnant at the time, and he cheated on her with a porn star.
Fuck. Who was the porn star?
Georgie Lyle, her name is.
So we have a
Scottish.
Oh yeah, she was in. I've got to say, my respect for Van Dijk has just skyrocketed, absolutely gone into the stratosphere.
So yeah, there's a bit of a sex scandal on to many the greatest player on earth right now.
But there are so many. I mean, what about that lady that was, what was her, the one that tried to get Beckham? That Rebecca, whatever her name was.
That's his nanny.
So wasn't that the nanny?
Or something?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, the nanny of his kids.
Yeah.
Then Ronaldo had.
But I don't think she was bullshitting. I think he actually pumped up.
Rebecca Loose or something like that.
Yeah, Loose.
Yeah, that's right. Far out.
How well put.
That was like 15 years ago.
No, but
wow.
But that's what I'm saying.
Say.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like, look at how many basketballers. I mean, then the Tyson was fucking 15 goals a day. Why does he need to rape?
Yeah.
So, is it always really a rape? Are they easy target because of their behavior, because they think we are untouchable? So
Tyson's a funny one because Tyson's even talked about himself, how much aggression he does have in himself. So it's like that's a separate one. When it comes to football, it's like we said back before, if every girl is throwing themselves at you, then it's the one girl that says no. Then it's a shot to their ego. They get aggressive about it.
Or what about if you say no and then they turn it on you? Like, you know what? You know how, some people bruise easily, yeah? So now, yeah.
Where's this going?
No, but look, now the poor bastard picked up a chick and it's all consensual. And she says, oh, slap my ass, and if I can slap a little bit, she's blue next day. And in the morning, she wanted to go for dinner or for breakfast with you and you go get the fuck in the car and leave.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, look at me, I'm bruised, he fucking did me. And again, this is not now me talking about, I feel sorry for every girl that got raped or Greenswood, what they got beat up and all that stuff. But I'm just saying that this is now, what does it do? Put the hands up and gently, because, you cannot. No, but they can turn it anyone. I mean, the guy can do it to her if she's more famous, which I was hoping ever will happen to me,
But just on Christoph Metzel, the funny you say about the child porn thing and the distribution. Now, and we mentioned Everton at the start of the thing. So there's a current Everton player who is under investigation for that as well. They haven't released the name.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's still under investigation. It's an open case, but the player's been suspended from football.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
The rumors going around, and this has been around for at least 6 months now, close to a year maybe, that it's Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Oh, shit.
At Everton, yeah. That he's involved in some child pornography thing, which is fucking despicable to say the least. But it's interesting. He hasn't actually formally been named, but he's a player that's been missing from Everton and no one knows where he's at the moment. So a lot of fans have put 2 and 2 together. And that's still ongoing, but there's no information about it.
Ashley Cole was another one.
Ashley Cole's a big one.
He was engaged to engaged or married to a pop star.
To Cheryl Cole. Listen, tell me something. If you've got Cheryl Cole, why the fuck are you cheating on her?
Bored, power.
Cheryl Cole was one of the hottest women in England.
We don't know what happens at the back. You know what I mean? Maybe she wouldn't do him or something. Beating him up at home. Like, you don't know what's happening. Like, you know what I mean? Cheating. Cheating, that's a private life. I mean,
so you never know what kind of marriage you was having.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and all the shit that's going on.
Yeah. So, like, you've got, cheating, it's, unfortunate, but a lot of, regular people, civilians do it. Again, imagine them. I just get pissed off when you see a talented boy, and you know what's the worst? That majority of those talented players have got no education. Half of them come from pretty poor families, so they can't live on any, inheritance or shit like that. They finally get a
break and go,
and you ruin it for something so stupid. Yeah. Like, this is what I don't get.
From what I heard within the circles of European football, it's very common for players to be cheating on their wife. It's a common act, especially the players that come from South America to Europe and stuff, and the wife's still in South America. They don't last longer than 2 weeks before.
My guy I played with in China, he was filming. We used to go to his room and watch him. If they would have slept with him, he'll promise him he'll take him to Brazil. He was doing it with his brother-in-law while his wife was managing the soccer. He had like an indoor soccer thing in Brazil, and my baby looking after my business. Don't come to China. I mean, I was like, what the fuck? Cheating, okay. Like, I mean, it happens, and look. But I just don't understand that when they get in a situation that, who do they think they are, that they go beating up the girls, that, like, those are the things that I don't understand. Where did you get the guts to actually hurt another person? Because, I don't know, you're a superstar, you're playing, like, the latest one, I'm playing for Madrid. But you're a fucking idiot, man.
Funny you mentioned European players and that. We heard a lot of stories about A-League players, when they go to away games, or especially players when they were playing in the Champions League. That there's a lot of things like that occur. A lot of players are, just sleeping with prostitutes or picking up girls and sleeping with them when they're away at away games. So it's not just a European thing. We have.
What about the legend of them all? Fucking Tiger Woods, man. I mean, would you call that a scandal, or would you call that like just
a marital problem?
American dream? I mean, hey,
American dream.
I mean, come on. He was successful. He played well, and how many women he managed to handle? I'm bloody struggling with one. This one, how many he had at the same time? What a legend for years.
He's just managing 18 holes. That's why.
No, but like, think about it. How do you keep them all on? You know.
I'm just sad that Darcy wasn't here.
Speaking of Australian football, I just clicked Adam Johnson. Seb Ryle, Australian Adam Johnson.
So well, is the Australian?
Look, I never actually. No, I know that we're taking the piss out of him, but what actually happened there?
Is a pedophile.
The rumor is that once again, nightclub, underage. She lied or about
did
her
he go
age.
to underage nightclub?
Have you heard of Seb Ryle after that?
No.
Have you heard that he exists?
Apparently, he suffered from mental health issues
because he's a
after that.
pedophile and he needs to be hung from his balls.
It happens when you get caught.
Yeah.
Fucking mental issue goes up to
Yeah.
the roof, right?
If I believe pedophiles should be hung by their balls
But then wasn't there one of
and
radio
beaten in a
announcer
public
as well?
square.
Who, sorry?
A radio announcer too that was called that we were calling Rock Spider. Trying to remember.
Alan Jones.
Ray Hadley.
Alan
Wasn't
Jones.
Alan Jones?
Oh, Alan Jones was
Alan Jones.
Alan Jones is rumored to be gay, and he's into younger boys.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we need to
Well,
be very
that's same
careful
like with
because he
the
might get
priests.
sued or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can our legal advisor tell us what the fuck?
As long as you put the word allegedly at the beginning,
It's
you
okay.
can say whatever you want.
Alan Jones is allegedly a gay pedophile.
And allegedly likes younger boys.
Yes.
No, but that's not bad. Being gay, so you
Pedophile
can
is
be
a
pedophile. No, but look, if Sam seemed to me like you give him a little bit of a, look, he's only a gay.
No, but he's a pedophile only for boys, like only likes little boys.
Allegedly.
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 Thanks for clarifying.
It's a story. It's a rumor.
And again, look, man of power.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
right.
I mean? Like it's ridiculous. But look, the kids as well now and girls and they get themselves in all sorts of shit with all these fucking TikToks and that, and they're talking. They don't even know who they're talking. As long as they talk nice to them, they get themselves in all
Yeah,
sorts
like
of shit.
the internet's been a big aid for a lot of this
Absolutely.
kind of shit.
Any last names before I throw one last question out
There
there?
is a few more names actually, I believe, that we haven't.
So just throw one more.
Fuck, let me think for a second.
You saw the Seeps and you can't even think of one.
There is.
If you look in Premier League, you would be shocked. There were quite few.
No, look, like for example, Garincha comes to mind. He lived a very
Colourful.
womanizing.
But
Ronaldinho loved the females. and-
but Garincha, I was trying to actually. I want to watch documentary again. Apparently, he even went as high as like pumping. Was it Prime Minister's wife or someone like that?
Possibly.
Like very high up.
George Best did a couple of Miss Universe.
George Best was just the first celebrity player, I think, back in the day, and maybe he just did it publicly. I mean, look, who knows? And I mean, look, affairs are regular things. I mean, they're happening everywhere. At workplace, you spend a long time with someone somewhere, shit's gonna develop. Half of these guys marry, I don't know, she's an actress, so he doesn't see her for 6 months. He's playing fucking every 3 days in different country. And a lot of those guys are good-looking guys. What do you think is going to happen?
The athletes, of course, it's going to be like that. That's my point. Back to my point, which is, if you're a successful athlete, top of your game, hold off on getting
The
married.
prime.
That's my
Well, that's my last question for tonight. You said they're good-looking guys. When you think of good-looking footballers, who comes to mind? I've got one name.
Tellers, bro.
No, I don't mean like. I don't mean good-looking according to Taronga Zoo. I mean good-looking.
we forgot about the fucking Icardi situation as well.
We spoke about it
Huge
in
one.
depth
Yeah, but that's a big one.
a couple of episodes ago.
My Icardi and fucking
Maxi Lopez,
Maxi Lopez and his
Yeah.
wife. What's her
Wanda.
name? Wanda. What a name.
Wanda Nara.
What a fucking weird name.
Yeah, good-looking
No, but
player.
for that, you would obviously need to ask.
Icardi's a very good
ladies,
looking
you know
player.
what I mean? I think
He's all right.
most of them are.
Fuck, Alex doesn't like him now because him and Messi had a falling out. He sucks Messi's dick.
Bro, no, it's just fucking weird that he's got Maxi Lopez's
But
kids tattooed to his arm. Like,
Hey,
It's not about looks. You're talking about physical.
you know about the
Personal
looks.
opinion.
I don't think it's anymore about the looks. All right. It's about these guys are in a prime of their physical.
That's not the question I asked you.
So
I said,
no,
who looks good?
Well, half of them that are fucking ugly fuckers are pumping or like, come
That's
on.
not he's asking you.
Peter Crouch, for example.
Yeah, like,
Have you seen his wife?
It's your favorite example every
it
time.
is, but like, you know, he looks like a larrikin, and I would love to have a beer with him, but like, come on, bro.
I
Like,
thought yes, I would love to do something else.
do some too. We'll share his miss. No, but like, it's about that. Look, a lot of, especially these days, everything is about who you with. I want to be seen with this one.
Yeah,
So
status.
these guys are, you know, famous. They're all in their physical, you know, fit and strong and big and, you know, popular. They don't even need to be good looking. Good looking is out of the, you know, you had your Beckhams back in the day, like if you like.
But that's my name.
But
Yeah.
it is
So
now.
to me, Beckham is like not just good looking, but to me, it's stylish.
It is. Yeah,
That's what he was like. I had his boots, I had his hair. Like he always he changed his hairstyle 20 times, and he managed to look good.
And you know what? Too, he didn't give a shit what anyone was saying either.
He was a marketing icon. He
was
attracted.
very clever.
I remember going to the LA Galaxy game when they came to Sydney. I remember that years and years ago.
Yeah,
I worked at the stadium, so I was there.
Yeah.
And a large population of the stadium were females that didn't give a fuck about football. But David Beckham was coming
In
to.
Japan, they used to when they used to go for the tour, the hotel used to rent his room a bit more, and that's where the women used to, you know, honeymoon suite. Where this is where Beckham was sleeping.
And you sleep with a fucking nanny.
Like, I mean, she was a quality nanny.
She was a quality nanny.
It would be quite hard to say no. And while the other one was doing business in New York, the one that never took off, fucking spent half of his money on a failed business.
That's true.
Well,
That's
maybe
true.
he was crying. Just imagine, you know, he was sad, and then he
Shoulder to cry on.
gave him a boob.
She was an all-round
suck
nanny.
on. Shoulder to cry and becomes a booby to suck on.
Yeah, boob always settles down. Your kid settles
Is that-
down.
is that
when
your
he gets a
quote for
booby, you
That's
know?
my quote for tonight.
No, but yeah, he was probably one that you just think, fuck, he could have done a lot more.
I reckon we'll finish with that quote. A shoulder to cry up becomes a boob to suck on.
That's it for me.
Oh, any last words, guys?
Keep
Harry,
it in your pants, man.
Thanks for seeing us.
Keep it in
Thanks
your
for coming,
pants.
Harry. We enjoyed
Keep
your,
it in your pants, man. Like, fuck, this career is so short, and you fuck it even shorter by being an idiot.
Good advice.
Fair.
Zach, last words.
No, all good, mate.
But Darcy, we missed you.
See you guys next week. Bye-bye.